goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Just a couple of feelings, and boom, you got a sound.
I remember this one time. I had been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Today, day 6 of the Musikfest Daily Livestream, and we have Jack Silva, Kassie Hilgert, and Billy Bauer. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, hello. Welcome to day 6 here of the Daily Musikfest live stream of the Your Next Favorite Band podcast, broadcast right from Godfrey Daniels. Again, thank you to Godfrey Daniels for letting us do this. It's a pretty cool spot. You were reminiscing about the place, the House of Fry.
Yeah, I feel like Dave Fry here on the stage at Godfrey Daniels. It's hallowed ground in Bethlehem.
It sure is. It sure is. Yeah, I always said like Dave Fry is on the Mount Rushmore of Bethlehem musicians. And this place is definitely where he was the founder of it and got a lot of great stuff moving. But look who we have here, Jack Silva, Assistant Superintendent, Bethlehem Area School District. Do I have that right?
Guilty as charged. Thank you for having me on, Philip. Any way I can help support Musikfest or the local Bethlehem community, I'm always game.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're going to get into some really cool things that you guys have going on there. And one of the coolest offerings I've ever heard of. I think it's just amazing. And then, just who knows who you're inspiring to kind of want to do this as a career in ways that maybe they never would have thought of before.
Yeah, we have a program that is probably 8 or 9 years old now.
Wow.
Where it's part of our Career Pathways program where students, high school students, who are potentially interested in careers in the communications, the music biz, take a series of courses with the goal of having some experiences in those type of professions.
Yeah.
And we had a boring old marketing class, which was usually just follow the textbook, make a marketing plan. But at the time we were collaborating with ArtsQuest on some other matter. And we started inviting Patrick Brogan from ArtsQuest into the marketing class. Sure. And then we started adding features to it that are uniquely related to the music business. And that course turned into Marketing Musikfest. So now at Liberty High School and Freedom High School, our two high schools, the elective is called Marketing Musikfest. And from the beginning, they learn how to identify music talent, use the booking system that Patrick uses.
Yep.
ArtsQuest gives the classes a small amount of money to finish off the contracts, do the advertising, all the way up until Plaza Tropical, the Saturday shows in the morning. Liberty has one Saturday, Freedom has the other Saturday, and the bands are usually pretty good. There have been a few hits.
Big time.
Yeah, I know the Fairground Saints were a few years ago, and I think they opened for Dolly Parton or somebody recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
So we look Seth Wilcher, who's sort of making the rounds now.
And he'll be on the show tomorrow.
I think Liberty first booked him at Marketing Musikfest. So it's a great, authentic application of the career path.
Well, there's also Carver Commodore was booked by this group. They've been back now twice, like last year and again this year. And they're probably like one of the, they were on our show. And they might come up. So they're currently on tour. They're coming from Pittsburgh on Saturday. So they're going to try and make it here for Saturday's live stream, but it's at 2 because the weekends start a little earlier. And their set is at 6:30, so like they're not sure if they'll be able to fit it in. But even if they could give us 5 minutes, they're a bunch of great guys, and that was another success story for you all.
The bands are always so cool about it. I usually introduce myself after their set's over, just say thank you. You worked with our kid, and they're as excited as the students were to be able to perform in the venue.
Oh yeah. And then there was the one this year that was on my kind of must-see list. And then when I went to see them, they even blew me away more so. The Musikfest magic of you walk in and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's even better than I was expecting. And you just, buying merch and seeing when they tour nearby again and, downloading or streaming their music. But Darling Sons from Chicago, they were amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, great find by them.
More to come this Saturday. I think it's Liberty High School has this coming Saturday at Plaza Tropical, noon to 3. Some good bands.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
That's just one of them. I mean, the marketing music, that's the one you see most outwardly.
Sure.
We've also partnered with Musikfest and PCN Bank for the backstage experience, which is also for students, high school students who are potentially interested in those careers. And basically what it is, they take a bunch of our students, high school students, and we go to the steel stage. And it is exactly what it says, the backstage experience. We get a tour of what everything's like behind the stage. Then the road manager from the band that day meets with the venue manager from ArtsQuest and talks to the kids about what it takes from the time the first truck rolls in with the equipment and the roadies till the last minute when the trucks leave, and all this behind the scenes backstage experience. And our kids ask questions like, what's the coolest thing about that career? Do you miss your family? What's it like?
Sure.
And then we usually see the sound check, or we see the sound check.
Yep.
I remember the first year one of the first years we had Jason Mraz was performing.
Sure. Mr. A to Z.
Yeah, so we were, okay, it's time for the sound check. Now we'll go out and sit in the front row. Everybody be quiet. This is serious business. No fooling around. No trying to get the attention on the stage.
Right.
So we're sitting there like mice. And the musicians come out. They plug in. They're looking at their iPads, doing everything. Yep. And Jason Mraz comes out. And his eye catches us in the front row, and he goes, "Hey, what's up?" And we're like, "Can we talk now? Like, are we ready?" But he couldn't have been nicer.
Sure.
But then we see the sound check, and then we have a post conference with the road managers and say, "That's what do you do if the weather turns bad? How do you handle disturbances, curveballs that come up?" And then we get tickets for the show that night. So then the kids take a little bit of break. It's always hot, and then they come back with their parents for the show. So this year we have Olga Tanyom, who is a huge star.
Oh, yes.
And we're also, for that, we're trying to incorporate some of our ESL students.
Oh, very cool. That would be excellent. Yeah, I'm sure that would be hugely inspiring too.
So we do the backstage. We did.
I had that experience last night. So I got lucky enough as an ArtsQuest member, plug for ArtsQuest membership, Kassie, that where I got asked to pick a artist to introduce. So I picked the artist that I wanted to most recommend to people, and it was JJ Gray and Mofro.
Okay.
So it was on that Levitt Pavilion America Platz stage, and I had never been backstage there before, and to say I was pooping my pants was like an understatement. So had I been exposed to it at a younger age, I wouldn't have been all worried about not only that, but also like there's all the behind the scenes equipment of there's nothing to see here, Wizard of Oz stuff is like I was afraid to lean against something because it looks like it's all very intricate and elaborate. And then of course they just kind of they're you're backstage and someone goes, "Okay, who's announcing?" And they all point to me and they just went, "Here, you're ready." And I was like, "Ah,
yeah." That's
I went out there and I went blank and I don't remember anything. And then I came off the stage and someone showed me a recording of what I actually vomited out, and it was moderately intelligible.
I'm sure it's better than you thought.
Which I was okay with. But what I was getting at there was the backstage stuff can be quite intimidating.
Yeah. I mean, just the complexity of all the wiring and why the back curtain goes up or down, depending on the weather. And, the road managers from the bands that do the backstage experience with us don't spare the details. I mean, they really get into it. To the point, I remember one year we had Lady Antebellum's manager was there, and he was
Lady A.
Yeah,
they
Lady
had to change their name. Yeah.
Where how there had been a stage collapse because of a thunderstorm that year earlier.
Wow.
So he went over all the details about, how that setup is in their contract, how they go about doing that. So that was fascinating. So we do the backstage experience.
Yeah, what else we got?
We have in our Bethlehem Area School District high schools a 60-hour community service graduation requirement. And a good number of our students do some volunteering at especially 9th and 10th graders at ArtsQuest and Musikfest, as well as a lot of our employees and teachers. As a matter of fact, I was at Musikfest the other night and got carded by one of the volunteers from the Bethlehem Area School District.
Very good. I was going to say, shout out to that.
But there's a certain, you learn about your community by volunteering, and that's part of our graduation requirements.
Yep.
We actually have a couple of students who have become performers. One, the Liberty Band's drum corps has a reputation of being a pretty entertaining group.
Yep.
And a spin-off of that was Orbital, which is a drum line.
They're doing such a good job.
It's very
and they're in that pathway, like after Hotel Bethlehem, as you walk down to Plaza Tropical. They're in that like cool pathway by Moravian University.
Yeah, they block traffic. They block everybody going down.
It's totally worth it. Get blocked. Like, go and listen to them drum. It's very cool.
One of the students that was in Orbital when they was a student, we just hired as a kindergarten teacher. So it's good to have a member of the faculty.
But on the last one, you mentioned the volunteering. We should definitely have a shout out to the volunteers. There's like 1,500 people dedicating their time to managing the festival, and it's not possible without them.
And they're whether it's the green team that helps clean up or run messages or fill sodas. Matter of fact, my son is a coach. He's an assistant soccer coach at Liberty, and one of their team things was filling up the cold sodas.
Sure.
And it was a real team builder for him.
Very cool. And looks like we got like some things around the rest of the year to share. But before we do that, let's just stick with Musikfest here for a second. How long have you been involved with like this kind of you personally? And what have you seen kind of evolve over time with the program?
Yeah, well, I started in Bethlehem in 2010. Okay. So it's been 12 years now. And we started with one of the first persons that came and visited me in my office was Kassie Hilgert's predecessor, Jeff Parks.
Got it.
And we had some after school programming arrangements, and he was just introducing himself. I was introducing myself. I said, hey, I was at the first Musikfest back then. So he went to Lincoln Elementary School. So he's a local guy.
Yep.
And we were talking, and then one thing led to another. He said, well, I'll introduce you to some of the people at ArtsQuest. One thing led to another. And those programs and those ideas came out as far as our relationship with Musikfest, but then also with ArtsQuest generally throughout the entire year.
Yep. Excellent. That's very cool. So there are other things throughout the rest of the year. Give us a quick rundown of that.
Yeah, they don't fit all on one page, but I wrote a few down so I didn't skip any. Any Given Child Bethlehem is an arrangement that is helped facilitated by the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.
Wow.
And its goal is to take the local arts community, in this case, Bethlehem arts community, one of which ArtsQuest is part, Godfrey Daniels is part, Touchstone Theater, all the great places in Bethlehem. And we set some goals as far as students' exposure to the arts in the community arts venues, and having teaching artists come into our classrooms, and whether it's core instruction or our music or our art classes, do the real thing with our students. So the push out and pull in ArtsQuest, they've been a leading member of those teaching artists and at Any Given Child partnership. They're great. We, of course, our first and original relationship was with art. It was called Be Smart at the time. Now it's called Art Smart, which is an after-school program during the school year. After school, part of our after-school program, where students go to the banana factory and they rotate through all the different types of art. So after school, they might do some drawing and painting, and then they might do mosaics, and then they might see how to do magic and different types of performance. And they do that for 7 weeks in the fall and then 7 weeks in the spring.
Right.
And then they have exhibits and galleries of their artwork that are there. Kids love that. We always have master classes. Many times the Musikfest Cafe will have someone coming into town who's a big deal. And in their contract, they might have something where they would want to connect with the local community or public schools. So it's not too hard to get a call from someone at ArtsQuest that, hey, Jack, we got this artist who's available and they're interested. One time we had the band Black Violin, they were a headliner.
Yep.
The day before their performance at the Musikfest Cafe, they were at Brockle, or middle school right up the street. Cool. with their music students talking about their career path.
Yeah.
So we frequently have master classes of the people who come in.
Cool little tidbit about black violin is, and you may already know this, but in the mug, the design on it this year, the father and daughter, it's in the sunglasses. So if you look really close, if you don't know about this, grab your mug, look in the sunglasses of the dad, and you will see black violin on the stage. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and they were great for.
Oh, they're awesome. They are so awesome.
And most recently, most current events are as ArtsQuest is transitioning the Banana Factory into a more robust cultural center.
Sure.
Nothing but thanks to Kassie and her team at ArtsQuest. They've involved our department leaders, some of our teachers in the design of some of those spaces.
Kassie, why don't you come up, and this will probably be a good transition point. You can kind of share some more details on that.
Yeah,
you can stay here if you want. Have her take this seat. This way, and then because I did want to ask you about this.
I warmed it up.
Yes.
And then also,
he is the headliner. Jack is the headliner.
Yeah, no. But what I was gonna ask was congratulations, like is on the decision there. Like I don't. It was a tough go there about.
It was.
But you got the approval to do what you needed to do because the costs had changed so much through COVID.
Correct. It ballooned through COVID, and I think a nuance here to understand is that the Historic Commission has their charge, right? And they made the decision based on their charge, which was right. City Council also has their charge, which is broader, and they also made a decision, which I think was right.
Correct.
So what we are trying to do there is to navigate the difference between who we were before and who we're going to be. And we think that new cultural center, as Jack has talked about, will be a lot more representative of who we are going to be in the future.
Totally. Yeah. And even like who we are and were over that little 3-year COVID span, like the original plans versus what it is today. Nobody has got the same plans in place that they did before that. Like every business, every human being, every organization has gone through a complete and utter kind of reassessment and then also had to, adjust to external factors out of their control. And I think that's what happened here.
Right. Personally, we all went through something in COVID.
For sure.
Professionally, you also went through something. And so the cost of the original design that kept 2 of the 6 buildings went up by $7 million. And listen, we are all for history. Musikfest started to highlight the colonial industrial quarter.
Yep.
Steel Stacks highlights the Bethlehem steel history. We are very sensitive to that. We want to do that.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to say we would rather spend money to raise funds to help students, and not to keep exterior facades.
Old buildings.
And that's where we ran into that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anything else to add on that, on what you guys are going to be doing in that space?
I can't thank Kassie.
Let me just move this over a little bit here.
When the design team a few years ago was putting together the schematic design of the new cultural center, it was, hey, what are you guys teaching in your curriculum about media arts? What are you doing about fine arts? What do you do? And then just how the artist studios will be laid out, the common spaces, the gallery area. I could see our students not only accelerating their involvement in those studios with those artists, but participating in the venue more. And it's so walkable. If you're good at Dunnigan or Brockle or Fountain Hill Elementary, it could just be part of your walkable community, part of your school. And, that's just a great advantage to have in a school district.
I completely agree. I mean, all of these like coordinated, this organization, that organization, the local businesses, like I just find Bethlehem to be so great at that. Where there's at least communication, if not complete
That's our
support.
secret sauce.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's
I think
perfect.
that's what people really come up here, like whether it's musicians, I hear it all the time as I'm interviewing them. They're like, you have something special going on there. And friends of mine who come up and they're like, you keep talking about this thing. You take time off from work to go to this festival. And it's like, are you that into music? I'm like, I am, but it's this total vibe that's going on that it's just a special thing.
It comes out of some of the history that Kassie was talking about, that old swagger that the steel company had about, building the skyline. We just don't have a regular music festival. We have the biggest festival. So, the partner to do things that are a little bit different is sort of in our DNA.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, for sure. Well, before we get to talking with you about more of that stuff, I wanted to show some highlights from yesterday. Why don't you guys just kind of we can watch while I play them and you can kind of chime in.
I want to see this.
Yeah. So yesterday was Tedious and Brief, Blair Crimmins, and then JJ Gray and Mofro all on the America Platz stage.
Correct.
So after my interviews yesterday, I just walked there, parked myself. I grabbed something from the food truck, like the literal food truck, and then a couple beers, and had myself a great time not walking around, which was a kind of a nice break after a lot of times I'm running all over the place. And that was Tuesday. It was probably like the greatest Tuesday in the history of the
We were
human
talking
race.
about that earlier yesterday, that the lineup north and south side was so strong. It is every day, and I firmly believe that. But yesterday was a little off the hook.
It really was.
Tuesday standpoint.
Yeah. When we did like our preview show to talk about like must see bands, we also talked about what's the best days of the festival. And there were three of us, Patrick Brogan, myself, and the co-host David Moore, who just couldn't do these shows. We each picked a day and gave a reason why we thought ours was the best. David picked Tuesday.
Tuesday was a solid day.
It was all like on our, but it was definitely one of the top three. I personally picked Saturday because
Saturday?
No, this coming Saturday. Yep. I think there's 5 bands that I interviewed over the last 12 months that are coming back all on that day. Yep. So I'm like, that's fantastic. And then Brogan picked Sunday because that's another one where there's just incredible offerings there. But every night, like there's great stuff tonight. We'll get into that in a second. There's great stuff tomorrow. There was great stuff over the weekend. But here is, so this is Tedious and Brief. It's a band founded in Chicago. They've now moved to Nashville. I think she's got an amazing voice, and this is their song called Paper Cuts.
The song's called Paper Cuts.
She said it too. So a lot of her stuff is this like mellow kind of synth pop.
Yep.
And she's got great vocals. I thought it was interesting when she introed this song. It's one of her more popular songs, but she was almost like telling this story apologetically that it was something she wrote when she was 15. And I was like, no. Like I almost wanted to pull her.
That's the teenage angst.
Exactly,
like that's when you want that song. Like we all forget that now, and to capture that is what makes it really special.
But I want to be like, it's okay. You're super talented, and it started at an early age. That's not something to apologize for.
Right.
Anyway, here's a really cool emotional rise in the song, and it's the angsty stuff too.
We just wanna go high.
Gives me chills. I love that part.
It does.
Yeah.
We just wanna go high.
So, in the sake of time, we're gonna move over, and the Blair Cremins one is super fun.
Blair Cremins is one of my favorites.
Absolutely,
they are amazing.
Top for me. Blair Cremins and the Hookers.
Yep,
they were on the show yesterday. It was my only guests. Yep, I had all 6 hookers on the show.
They've actually been in this venue.
That's what they said. They would tell me about that.
During the Southside Arts and Music Festival, and I've seen them in Lancaster. I've seen them here. Wherever they are playing, I am following them.
Absolutely, yeah. And so they'll be on Stadplatz today, but we're going to get into that in a second. But 5 o'clock, so pretty much again, right when this ends, my 80-year-old mother is here, and her beau Steven. So they're hanging out in the show, and they have no idea what they're in for. And here's the thing: those two dance if there's dance music on.
You're going to dance.
That's right.
Just so you know, you're going to dance. So get ready.
Yes. And I told Blair that yesterday. I said, when you see this very adorable old couple nonstop dancing, that's my mom. So anyway, here is their second line, basically. They kind of came out into the audience and started parading around. It was quite cool.
He is always in the vest. He's always fully dressed.
He's definitely the Patrick put the best dressed guy at the fest every year.
Every year. I mean, Patrick and I both have a crush on him. He is just the greatest guy. He's a great performer. And when I was growing up, I loved Ragtime, the musical, and Ragtime, the movie, and they remind me of that. And their performance is always off the hook when they come here.
Oh yeah. They have kind of like I asked him, I was like, what would you call it? Is it Dixieland jazz? He's like, that's what I call it. Other people call it ragtime.
Right.
He's like, but it's really kind of a mix of all that. And he's not only playing those covers from the 20s or 40s, he's doing that plus writing his own originals in that same style. They're amazing.
Yes.
And then he'll also take modern songs and put it in that style.
Yep.
Their version of Psycho Killer and Let's Dance and Lust for Life, like, are just amazing. You're just listening to it. It's one of those ones where you're like, wait, why am I singing along? I don't know music from that time frame. And like, wait, this is David Bowie.
You put a banjo in Psycho Killer, and I'm there.
Fantastic.
So it's perfect.
So fun. He closed with it yesterday. So it was super fun. And then lastly, the big headliner, the free headliner, I would say. And again, kudos to you guys for making these like special moments happen where there's like people who we always say like, holy crap, that's free. Yep, I'm going on that one. So here's JJ Grey and Mofro.
Mama, don't leave me. Boy, I'm man.
This is a great thing. He was telling a story about his grandfather, who was, a Southern grandfather. And then he tells a story.
That's when my grandmother looked at him like, what are you going to do, fool? You ain't going to do nothing.
But where his grandmother would put him in his place. Entertainment, like amazing music, but putting on a show. Again, just the whole package there was amazing.
And I could argue they had more backline than Ziggy Marley did last night.
Really?
Oh my goodness, the equipment backstage was crazy. And
that was what I was talking about.
It was so much, but again, to invest in a free stage, that's part of the magic of Musikfest. That you've got to be able to see some of these national artists, whether it's Colin Hay in years before or JJ this year.
I mean, you've had like Squirrel Nut Zippers. Like there's even like there's some amazing ones, especially if you're into that like style of music.
Right.
There's people who are just always blowing you away about who you guys can bring in and put on a free stage.
Yes.
But yeah, so those were my highlights from yesterday. I was going to bring up the weather, but we don't have time for that. Here's the news. There's still one like minor chance for rain today. Most likely not. And after this, it's like over. It's perfect,
over.
perfect.
Humidity's gone, low 80s.
I mean,
you couldn't script this better.
No,
so
no.
Katie bar the door.
Yep.
Here we go to the last 4 days of Musikfest, and even tonight looks like it's very minimal.
Yes,
so we're feeling
right. And also, like we said, Saturday and Sunday might be the two best days of the festival with perfect weather. Bonkers.
Yeah. we are buckled up. Trust me.
Yeah.
We are buckled up. We saw the weather and we've all said, get ready. And we hope that we can host everyone that wants to come out and really have a strong finish.
Mm-hmm. So Jack, I don't want to hold you up. If
you're not. I'm really enjoying watching your picks.
But if you need to go, let me know. But other than that, I just was going to ask Kassie a few more questions. I would love to just maybe have you kind of share your story, like what you were doing before ArtsQuest, how you came across that, like maybe just a quick little background.
So the Cliff Notes is I was born in White Plains, New York.
Nice.
Moved down to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is another Moravian settlement.
Oh, wow.
Old Salem.
And that's you knew where you needed to go.
Well, I moved here when I was 11 and I saw Bethlehem and I thought, wow, every city has a Moravian settlement. Isn't this the greatest thing in the world? But like every teenager after high school, I went to Salisbury High School. I wanted to leave. I just wanted to get out.
Right.
And through college, I went to Penn State, ended up with an internship here and landed back here and was fortunate to travel the country. And that's where I first learned. I was traveling to other countries and talked to other people and realized no matter where you go, everyone's trying to leave where they are. Right?
So true.
So put down your roots. If you look around and see what's special about a community, and that's what happened. So I worked at MedStar Television, I worked at Good Shepherd, and then I was fortunate to be at Air Products when this guy, Jeff Parks, had this crazy idea to convert the largest brownfield into an arts district.
I know. It is.
And every time I met with him, I thought, you're literally out of your mind. But every time we talked, he had this progression and this vision that was intoxicating. So in 2008, I joined ArtsQuest. And then in 2015, I succeeded Jeff. But a big hook, and you were talking about it before, about why I loved this, was the authenticity of Musikfest and ArtsQuest.
Sure.
Godfrey Daniels predates Musikfest.
Sure, right.
There was the Bach Choir. There was the Moravian settlement. We have a strong history of music.
Absolutely.
So to be able to jump on that bandwagon is what was irresistible for me to leave Air Products and come over to ArtsQuest in 2008 and then take this role in 2015. That's the shortest version I can give you.
Well, we're glad you put down roots. That's good.
Yeah.
Love the roots, and they run real deep.
Yeah. And you're right about that. Like, so I grew up in New York myself. I was born in Levittown on Long Island. So,
oh, wow.
You're north of the city. I was east of the city. But came to Pennsylvania and loved it. Like, especially then, the more I figured out about the Lehigh Valley, I work in King of Prussia, so it's no short drive for me.
Right.
But I choose Bethlehem
That's
for
right.
where I live. And I would be talking to other people, like, going out on a weekend and just kind of talking to me, like, this place is great. And locals would be like, it stinks.
Always.
Yeah.
It is
and then
always,
that's the thing. It's like, it happens everywhere.
I don't know about that. There are some locals who stuck around.
You're right. Yeah. No, but there are just some people who are like, oh, I hate all this stuff. And it's like, but a lot of them move away and realize how good they had it and come right back.
So when you look at that, especially in the city of Bethlehem, the number of people that are 18 to 35 that are moving into the city, it's one of the best in the state. When you look at some of the industry sectors, manufacturing, bio life sciences, we're seeing that. And I think what is so unique about Bethlehem in particular is coming out of COVID, where employees can choose where to live and work. This is where we argue that the cultural amenities matter.
Yes.
Because you want to live where you get access to culture without the price of big cities.
Yep.
We can be anywhere within 2 hours. But the authenticity of Bethlehem is where you can, in a minute, whether you're a local or coming in at a later date, you can decide, I want to make a difference, and you can get involved, and it will happen soon. And that is a magic that you don't get in a lot of cities.
We're hearing that the same in all of our new teacher interviews. When new teachers are coming for a job, they say the same thing about Bethlehem. We want to be part about that community, what's going on there. The connection between the synergy between the community and the school system, it sells itself.
It does.
It sure does. It sure does. So the Banana Factory thing, adapted but happening.
Yes.
You also had that other plan to rebuild the one that's like behind the stacks.
So we're still working on that as part of our current capital campaign, which we launched the year before COVID. So and then obviously
perfect
COVID,
time to do that.
Right. Well, I have to tell you, when we also launched Steel Stacks, it was September 2008, which was the month before the economic collapse.
Everything collapsed.
So I tell everyone, whenever we announce a capital campaign, just save all your pennies.
Strap on your helmet.
Just strap on. But we've come back out of it, and the turn and grind we are working on. So we've got some great conversations happening with that. Both buildings are part of that campaign.
Good.
So if we can be under construction with both, great. And just as an FYI, the turn and grind will be a preservation of that building.
Cool.
And a rehab. So we're doing the bookends of that. One campus in the Banana Factory we want to tear down and rebuild to better serve the community. But turn and grind, we know we can rehab and keep a 150-year-old steel building. So we respect both ends of that spectrum.
Of course. No, you weren't doing it because you wanted to.
No, gosh, no.
It's not like you're sitting there going like, these steel stack things are rusty.
Let's just get
gross.
rid of them. Yes.
We're going to take them down.
Right. No, absolutely.
March on City Hall.
It's to better serve the community. But that turn and grind building would be a huge open space for us to do private events, traveling arts and educational exhibits.
Pictures of it looked amazing. I remember seeing them.
So you've seen the Van Gogh exhibit go around, right?
Yeah.
So that's what could go in there.
Wow. Okay.
So suddenly you're bringing national exhibits here.
Very cool. Very
much
cool.
more connection.
And in a beautiful space. I mean, then that's going to put people will come for that and go, hey, wait, something cool going on.
I should come back
here.
and stay.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's the next frontier for our partnership as far as those traveling exhibits locally. There'll be curricular connections. There'll be follow-up performance connections.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool. And would that be able to be big enough then to be a Platz as well?
Well, actually, that would serve as the new backstage for Musikfest. So believe it or not, building the main stage and then the backstage. So we have to build a kitchen. We have to build.
Okay, that would make a lot
areas
of sense.
for the artists. We have to bring in a kitchen. We got to build the kitchen. We have trailers for the artists. That's $500,000 a year in infrastructure. So it would serve half to take care of the main stage artists, but also an additional backstage hospitality area. More importantly, for Turn and Grind, it expands Chris Kindlemart.
Yeah.
So we now have a temperature-controlled space for some vendors. Oktoberfest, I would argue it's the best beer garden in the valley when we get that done. So we know today, if we can open that building tomorrow, we have 200 days of programming we can put in there tomorrow. We have run out of dates at Steel Stacks for the number of outside parties and our own programming. So we got to expand.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's very cool.
Right?
Yeah.
A little mind-blowing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's going on right now.
That's right.
Don't know what my next question was going to be. But let's get back to the festival so we can wrap it up this way. Of the rest of the fest, who are you looking out to see?
So tonight is Scythian. Which...
All right. So actually, that's cool because I don't have them on my list, but let's. These were my picks for the day. It's going to block you right out. So hold on a second. Watch this. So you've now turned into the picks of the day.
So you got Scythian, you got Blair Crimmins again.
Yep.
We got Disturbed, which is heavy metal.
The headliner,
at the Wind Creek
You
stage.
opened up a mosh pit for them.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. How can you not?
Exactly. No, but I think that's another testament to like, we know how to do it right. Like
you got to be flexible.
Yeah. You're going to bring in a show like that. You're going to take some seats out.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
And that's the team getting up at 5 a.m. and pulling out seats.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, you've got
Who
some
else
other
do you
stuff.
have?
So mine on my side, North
Show me.
41, they
Oh, yeah.
were already on today, unfortunately. So again, you missed it. But if you're inspired, I'm sure they're going to play again
Oh,
somewhere.
we Banjo 3, yes.
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 Yeah. Blair Crimmins and the Hookers, Lowdown Brass Band. They're on the same time as Blair, but they play again tomorrow.
Correct.
So I have them on the list here because I think they're great.
Right.
But I won't be seeing them today. I will be seeing them tomorrow. Ruby Deer, which you were talking about, Start Making Sense before.
Yep.
This is like their derivative stuff, which is again great for the local stuff.
My daughter is coming in from South Carolina to see Start Making Sense on Friday night.
Excellent.
So that's an example of what Kassie was saying, that people will come back to see.
That's right.
Sure. We Banjo 3, which was just mentioned. That'll be the other one. Again, I'll take them too. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to dance.
I know you will dance at them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you got dancing shirts on, so,
Yeah,
so I
they're
expect
ready.
to see that.
Yep. And then I talk about this all the time. You guys, a couple of years back, started the 11 p.m.
Yes.
last minute stage.
Yes. At the High Mark, right
Yeah,
outside the
right
town
outside.
square.
So
I'm
tends,
in bed by then.
it tends to be a little mellower crowd.
Correct.
You know, it can get a little funky because it's 11 o'clock of a festival, but you always put on like this really cool musician. Like there's clearly a good choice being there. And tonight it's Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman, which is, I always love the and see what they do. And when they do something cool like that, I'm like, I'm in. Plus he's got this really cool, like bluesy kind of Southern rock, like kind of, I think he's more local, but he's got that kind of sound to him, that really kind of filthy basement blues.
Which is good too. 'Cause the reason why we do the 11 o'clock show is when you empty out the Wind Creek stage and Levitt's done, you don't want that crush of traffic. So we're trying to encourage people, just sit for an hour.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to some great music.
Yep.
You don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
And
you were talking about, it happened last night. Obviously, people leaving Ziggy Marley stuck around for JJ Grey and Mofro.
Exactly.
And then after that, there was
Whatever.
another band that went on and they stuck around for that too, just because it was such a great.
Yes.
So that was a very packed 11, 12 o'clock.
It was to see that on a school night was pretty impressive. So I was excited.
Luckily, school hasn't started.
Fair enough. See, Musikfest, you have no idea what time it is.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you what today is.
So there are I call it the picks of the plots because the way that it worked out is I couldn't put apostrophe S on it. So I've just made a decision that plots is the plural of plots. So I hope that's okay with you.
It's completely fine. And this is what we love. The community owns the festival. So go own what you want. We love that.
Right. So anyway, yeah, that was my little thing there. It's pick of the plots.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, just like the plural of deer is deer.
It's pop.
Right.
You should trademark that. Pick of the plots.
Listen, people can use it. That's cool.
That's the whole point. So when you see people that have the Platzes, I've watched backyards where they've named, use the last name. It's whatever name Platz.
When I was, first separated, I moved into my apartment and I called it Reese Platz.
That's the community owning this festival. And that's, I would argue, one of the biggest reasons why it is successful. Great programming, great food vendors, great everything else. But when the community says, I want this to happen, and volunteers and members and sponsors, that is literally, we are standing on the shoulders of giants doing that.
That's so cool. So cool. That's a great way to just stop right there. That was a great way to just boom, exclamation point, the end of that conversation. Kassie, thank you so much for stopping by.
Great job, Phil. Appreciate everything.
No, I appreciate you all. Like it's you let a knucklehead like me, kind of go and have this much fun. I'm in. So you guys are been such a great sport this whole time while this has evolved. It really kind of started last year by accident, and then here it's a year later. I've done 26 interviews of musicians across the country.
I think Jeff would argue Musikfest started by accident too, and look what happened. So you stay on the accident trail.
That's right. It's fine by me.
Right?
And thank you so much, Jack. It was great to hear about all the offerings. And again, you said it's an elective class. Any kid who's not choosing that elective, you're crazy.
Right?
Sign up for that one. It's phenomenal. So anyway, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you for having
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Oh wait, I got to give you give this to Jack already. But here's my customized guitar.
Oh,
pick.
stop!
Isn't that fun?
Wow, that's perfect. That's also in the colors of the poster.
Oh, is it really?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's the orange and red.
Yep.
Which Bart Cooper was capturing.
Yeah.
The orange and red was the heat of Musikfest, which we certainly experienced the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's kind of the branding. I'll bring up real quick here. Like you can see, that's like the branding of our podcast.
My favorite brand.
Yep.
Love it. My favorite band.
That's
awesome.
John Worthy.
Wow.
That's that image is, that's him right there. It's a picture I took when he was on last Labor Day when you brought him back.
Yeah.
And there was that really cool orange background.
Yep.
I just got this. I got lucky, but I got this really cool picture of him in total silhouette. And then I went to him and I was like, "Can I use this image?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And so I was like, put that out there. And then, so he's the poster child for the next favorite band because also his music is amazing. He's on the show tomorrow as well.
Oh, great.
It's him and Seth Witcher.
Hey, the harder you try, the luckier you are. So
Tell him I
Great
said
job.
hello.
I will definitely.
Yeah, we love Seth.
Yeah.
We follow him a bunch. He's been great.
Absolutely cool. Well, thank you guys again.
Thank you guys.
And here we go. We're going to bring up Billy Bauer.
Fantastic.
Seamless transition.
Yeah, right.
It's great to see you. Absolutely. Am I allowed to bring my Musikfest mug up here?
For sure.
Is that a violation?
No, we don't know what's in there. Could be
All
water.
right, man.
How are you doing, Billy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on. I got a guitar pick for you too.
Oh, dude. All right.
Customized for it. And if anybody you want one, let me know. You stop me while we're on the fest, and
Yeah.
I'll hand one over.
Absolutely.
But welcome to the show.
Thanks.
It was
Yeah, man.
So
It's
great
awesome
to have
be
you
here.
on. Yeah. I'll just put this more in between
yeah.
us here. But how's things going? Your fest hasn't
Great.
started yet.
Last night was
Okay.
the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
We it's always cool to get up in front of like the home crowd.
Yep.
With an actual PA system that
Yeah.
is going to sound great. And
Yeah.
I believe it was a mountaintop. They have a really good setup every year at Leader Platz. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we had a
always
good
do
show.
this. I call them hometown headliners. So
Heck
it's
yeah.
and so here you are there
All
along
right,
with,
man.
I mentioned Seth Witcher.
Yes.
He's on the show tomorrow. But anyway, I always try and highlight those where I can because
Yeah,
we're
thank
really
you.
lucky and blessed to have so many talented musicians right here from either Bethlehem
Thank you,
or
man.
the greater
Yeah,
Lehigh Valley.
I know. There's Kassie just left. I host a songwriter night every
That's why I wanted to
Thursday.
make sure you highlighted that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
down
the
at
open
ArtsQuest.
mic night at
I
ArtsQuest.
can't believe the talent that rolls in there.
Yeah.
Singer-songwriters. I mean, even spoken word and
Yep.
we have a little bit of everything. But
So give me a little more detail
amazing.
about that. Is it every
Generally, it's not this week. That
yeah,
would be cool,
Musikfest
right?
always up to yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty much every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
And I've had people come from literally like all over. We had this girl, and what's cool is you have that Levitt concert series going on through the summer. So
Right.
we follow that. And here there was like a girl that just showed up randomly out of Baltimore, and
Oh.
she was just amazing. I always have my guitar there, so people
Right.
are more than welcome to just jam on my Martin.
Mhm.
And she was awesome. So we get people from all over the place, and it's generally singer-songwriter based.
Sure.
So
And like you said, it doesn't have to be music. If people
No.
want to do spoken word or
Yeah.
whatever, it is a open
whatever
mic.
you want, whatever makes you happy.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been doing that for it's got to be like 10 years or something like that.
Really cool.
Yeah. So I'm honored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good friend Arno got my foot in the door there, and it changed my life. So
That's so
very
cool.
grateful. ArtsQuest is awesome.
Yeah.
They're the best thing to happen in the
Oh,
Valley
right,
since
like-
Steel.
Cassie's not
Really
kidding.
awesome.
Like she does think the community owns it, and then like stuff like this just gets born out of it. Like
Yeah.
you take on open mic and do it for 10 years. I get inspired to do like this kind of a
Yeah.
thing, and it's like they do nothing but say,
Yeah.
"That's awesome. Do more of that."
Absolutely.
Because you could see them being like, you're kind of competing with us for people's time or whatever, or you're not allowed to use our image. They're not even. They almost would want us to do it at a higher level. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's very, very cool, very supportive across the board. So yeah, the open mic night, I've been down there a couple times for a Thursday night show. And then at 9, you're like, you guys fire right up. And it was just very natural to kind of like slide over there and check
try
out.
to get like a feature in there every week. So
Mhm.
that way we kick it off with somebody who's like been coming out and wants to show off their talents in front of people. And it's just super fun. It's a great network of supportive musicians. And I just try to facilitate it, you know?
Yeah,
And,
and you do a great job
very
of it
lucky.
too.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
thank
also,
you
like
very
you said,
much.
if you get up there and play, like sometimes people need that. They're like, oh, okay, someone's already done it.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be the first one up there, but they'll be second or third.
I use it as like a spring training for like new music that I want to like,
For sure.
bring out or
Yeah.
something. It's no pressure. It's like people screw up. Everybody's human, It's,
Right, yeah.
It's
It does
happens to
feel
the
very
best in the
supportive,
industry.
yeah.
Honestly,
Mhm.
it's just part of the game, And
Mm-hmm.
but that's how that's my role. I try to just help people along.
Yeah.
Introduce people. It's fun.
And then as far as the festival does go on, you had last night, but then you're also playing Thursday and Saturday.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, tomorrow night we're gonna do the we try to do like a Dave Matthews Band tribute.
Yes.
He's been an influence on me for on my music for years.
And you play. I mean, when I was more recently in Bethlehem as a resident, just growing. I was going to college 92 to 96 is
Yeah.
like peak Dave
Heyday.
Matthews time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a funny story there. That's
All right,
kind
go
of cool.
ahead.
But so I come into town. I'm like, oh, somebody's doing Dave Matthews tribute. All right, I'll go out and check it out. And it was awesome. And it was obviously you.
Oh, cool.
And like just playing not only the very popular ones, like you guys did Bartender Please and all that kind of stuff. Like
yeah.
And your style does fit that.
Yeah.
But also you have your own original stuff that's excellent. And so
that's what last night was.
Yeah.
So.
And is that Saturday as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
But it is cool to kind of say, hey, you want to come and hear some Dave, come
Yeah,
down
like,
Thursday night and check it out.
I'm lucky and I'm not like naive. I realize that like we do cover a decent amount of their music and stuff, but it's like at the same time, I like writing music.
Yeah.
And like I love my band. And we'll even make it a point here and there. We'll even throw in like an original during a Dave tribute. You know what I mean? Because like that's truly what we love doing as well. And I don't want to like pigeonhole ourselves just like identifying with that, but I also realize at the same time, like we're very similar, and the genre is a huge influence. Like John Mayer, and I love all that kind of stuff. So,
violinist in your band, that's another reason why you're able to like get that sound. He seems like he's been with you a long time.
He's nuts. Chris is a good friend of mine. I love that guy. And I've known Chris. We were trying to figure it out the other week. It's got to be like 25 years.
Yeah.
So I've known him, and I've known the other guy behind our band who's done all our CDs, Damien Riggy. Like I've known him long before music. So these people were just all around me, and then I just happened to fall into it.
Yeah.
And Chris was always like shredding the violin. He was born with a violin in his hand. We always joke that it was a very difficult childbirth. That's what he always says. And he's just awesome. He was like always all state orchestra. And then like, I just got this cockamamie idea that I'm going to buy a guitar one day.
Nice.
And actually a friend told me, he's like, Billy, we're buying you a guitar. And then I just got this guitar and I'm like, I didn't really know what I was doing. And at the time I was just like a huge Rush fan. Like I like drummers.
Sure.
And like Neil was an animal. And like, so that's what I was really drawn to. And all of a sudden, like I had Dave albums and I had like all these other, popular 90s bands. And like, all of a sudden, I'm like, this Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds album is amazing. And I can hear it. And it just like something sparked. And then like, I even laughed at a guy once up at Nazareth Music. My brother's up there. He's a musician as well. And he's looking at horns. And I'm looking at the guitars. And this is like just when I first started picking them up. And he's like, you play guitar? He's like, what do you do over there? He's like, I play violin. And he's like, you guys should do something together. And I laughed at the guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I literally laughed at him. I'm like, yeah, that'll happen. And I think I've been jamming with Chris now for like 15 years. Like, so it's been a transition for him too, and growth for him.
Sure.
He's a classical guy.
Yeah.
But now he's even got like elements of jazz sneaking into some of the stuff he's doing.
Yeah.
And just his improv has grown. And I'm just very lucky. I've always had just people that are more talented than I am around me. And it's really like genuinely helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a lucky dude.
Yeah. And that's how you acquire.
That was a tangent.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what this is about.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice part about having him as partner, that's how you're able to get to the Dave sound with that violin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So my quick, funny Dave story is when I was in college near Rochester, I went to go see him at a place, and a good friend of mine who was on college radio and then went into real radio in Rochester had graduated. He was like 2 years ahead of me. And so he's like, hey, do you want to come to the Dave show? And I was like, absolutely. So first he gets me like down like second row. And I was like, this is amazing. Cause he just had all the credentials that he could go do what he needed to do. Bam. And then he's like, okay, I have the ability to go backstage. He's like, but if you just act like you work for the radio station, they probably won't even check us. And I'm like, okay. So like, we're starting to walk up. And of course, like I overplay it. Like he's like just walking, and I'm like, yeah. So that show that we're gonna do next Thursday, and he's like, you didn't have to go through all that. You just had to walk with confidence, you knucklehead. So, but I get backstage, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm gonna meet Dave Matthews. So he comes out and couldn't be the nicest guy. And then he just asked me. I just said, it's like, oh, you have any what kind of new music do you have coming out? And he goes, well, do you know Bella Fleck? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, I just recorded this really great song with him. And he's talking about Don't Drink the Water. I was gonna say, so he did it like the week before. And I was like, and I didn't know like what he was just kind of talking about it at a high level. And then like the song comes out like a couple 6 months later or whatever. And I'm like, that's the song he was talking about.
Oh, that's so
cool.
It
was just this like kind of neat thing that I didn't even ever tell anybody about it, just because it wasn't like it was like hot off the presses cool news. And a lot of people don't know who Bella Fleck is. Yeah, but
that guy's an animal.
Oh my God, like the best banjo player around.
How about it?
Yeah. But anyway, like I think that song's tremendous, and I just have that special little connection to it. So
now you said that, I'm going to play that tomorrow night, without a doubt. I was going to leave it up, but now it's just like, gonna find a spot.
Ah,
I like Don't Drink the Water a lot.
Oh, that's
a good show.
Yeah, it has such a deep meaning behind it too.
It does.
Yeah.
It speaks to the world.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other like songs there that or new music you have?
I actually, we're nuts. Like, I've never done this, and people would look at like me as a musician and be like, I just dropped a brand new song last night on the spot that we've never played live to close out Musikfest. And it's just like, I think that's part of being a musician, part of like what I love. For whatever reason, knock on wood, it's just I like pressure. I thrive in it.
Nice.
And the anxieties behind it have gotten worse for some reason, like since COVID in ways.
Older,
it's like, I don't know what it is, but there's something in it that also I think like at times it definitely brings out my best.
Sure.
And it's risky. And it's also fun as heck. You know what I mean? So it's just like, we literally, like my bassist, I'm looking at him, I'm like, do you know this? And he's like, I sent him a quick like voice memo of it, like literally a compressed crappy file. And like, Steve's awesome. Steve Zalalis is an amazing bassist. Right. And we rehearsed it like, I don't know, I think we played it 2 times on like Saturday or something, because we generally don't practice that much.
Sure.
Very rare. We just like gig, man. And it went awesome. It's a great song. Yeah. And I love it.
And
it's fun.
Did anybody record that?
Not yet.
Okay. No, I just meant more like in that moment.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because that would be really cool.
My allergies are starting to go berserk. It's got to be August. It's happening.
And it's an old place.
Yeah. Oh, not here. It's just outside. But yeah, I have ADHD. It's wonderful. But yeah, I'm sure my violinist dad got it. Somebody got it out there.
Yeah, because I bet you it'll be like such a unique version of it that you may never kind of capture ever again.
There's just something about that song. It just like certain times you'll sit down and you'll start writing and like you'll go into like I don't know, like this lull where like nothing's happening and like people will think
like almost like a writer's block for writing music.
Well, absolutely. And like, I don't know, I'm weird. I think guitars will speak to you like they were alive. Trees were alive. There's like there's energies in them.
Absolutely.
I believe it. And certain guitars will like register in your ear or something, and like something will happen. And like, I got this new Martin and like instant. Yeah. It's just like, it just came out. Lyrics, everything, whole nine.
And what's it called?
It doesn't have a name.
Awesome.
I don't know yet.
Is it something you could play today?
Yeah, man. I'll play it.
Because you said you would, I think we got time for one song here because I know we got to get you off.
Yeah, whatever. I got time. What time is it?
It's 4:37.
Yeah, you're all right. What the heck was I going to say? But yeah, I don't know what the name's going to be, but we jammed it and it was so fun. And the crowd like loved it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm just lucky.
Yeah, why don't we grab your guitar? Cool, I'll move out of the way and we can play the song and then we can wrap it up.
I mean, there's a chance I might mess it up.
Oh, well, we won't notice because you're... Maybe. If you'd rather play something else, whatever you want.
I definitely want to play it.
Awesome.
Why not?
And then if anybody has any recommendations on what to call it...
I live on the edge.
It's,
maybe I should tune this thing. It's been sitting... Like, this is like my... This is my new toy, which I'll have for the rest of my life probably. And then, my other tuner's in my thing. So let me just tune this so it doesn't sound preposterous for the people. But this guy doesn't have a pickup in it yet or anything. So I can't plug it in. I just got that in this week. Sarah's song, Sarah's favorite song. Wrote it to my wife.
So here we have Billy Bauer with As Yet Unnamed, Sarah's favorite song.
I don't know. This guitar is kind of a tank, so I don't know how this is going to sound on the mix. To sunset with no one around. I want to know that you're the one. I want to know that you're the one.
devil's got a red dress on, but you see right through the lies, through and into your heart that you hold in your hand. I got your soul in my heart. You should be here now. You should be here somehow. You're all I want, all I need. My love flows in between this world. It's full of lies. You're not one. You're not one. I know life, it can be hard. The downside is all you've got to spark. Help you light up your way. Yeah, it will help you on your way. You should be now. You should be here somehow. You're all I want, and all I need. My love flows in between the world. Ooh, lies. You're not one. You're not one.
Kind of hard to like hold back and just sing it quietly when I want to scream, which I could scream live.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, man, that's kind of a new song. I don't know what I'll call it.
Yeah, so I love when a song doesn't have, like, it's titled something that isn't a lyric.
Yeah,
Like How Soon Is Now by the Smiths.
Yep, I'm a big fan of that as well.
Yeah, so like you could call it Are You the One? I don't think that's an actual lyric. And all of the you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you're saying I want you to be the one and all that.
I think that's what I'm gonna do with that song. I'm gonna sit down and think, come up with something, or maybe a fan or somebody will. Yeah.
That's so
I'll
cool.
take the ideas and see what happens.
But here we are, world premiere of that song.
Yeah.
Other than last night at Musikfest.
Acoustic. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever played it live acoustic. So hopefully it was all right.
Boom! No, it crushed.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming on the show.
This is awesome. I'll come back anytime. I'm gonna start my own podcast. It's gonna be like, I'm a sports nut too.
Yeah, sure.
I love music. I love the Phillies. We're hot right now.
Nice.
I love sports, but mostly baseball and football a lot. But maybe like the Billy Bauer Sports Hour. It'll be something wild. Yeah. Take over the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, and then like not even just sports and music hour.
Yeah.
And then get you like a little variety.
And then I'll become mayor. Would that be a ride as well?
You gotta
just do it all.
Yeah,
I can.
We're right after we break from here. We're gonna go up to Platz, so maybe you could start your campaign to take over Willie Reynolds.
Oh, he's probably a really cool dude.
He's super cool. He really is.
I was born and raised in Bethlehem, and I temporarily went over to Jersey for a little bit. That's where my wife's from. And we'll be home. We'll be coming home. I miss it here. I love Bethlehem. Yeah. Good music, good people. It's super fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about it with Kassie and with Jack. And it's just like it's such a great place, and it has a magnetism to it that if like I knew it was where I wanted to live.
Yep. You know, like from a music standpoint, you really it's hard to gig and make money, but like you could if you have good vocal cords and you use it the right way, and like you don't play like 4 times in a day like I used to, and it leads to a couple of surgeries. But like play your cards right, you could actually do all right here. It's like you play in the cities and like there's just not much.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I know you play at Lost Tavern, you play at a couple other places. Yeah. And I remember when I was actually talking to Dave Fry on this stage, he was like, back when he did all this, you could make a living, you know, in this town gigging. He's like, but you had to play in bars, and I wanted to start a place where it was going to be somebody who was going to sit there, and the whole point was to listen to the music. And so at least one of your gigs was going to be this space where it wasn't about, oh, I went to have a few drinks and there happened to be a musician there. It's the other way.
And that's the trade-off. It's just like, you know, I realize that that's how it is. Every musician going in needs to realize that's, you know, just part of the industry.
Right.
And you know, you one thing I've realized in music is like I've been very lucky. I've gotten to play with some big artists in front of a ton of people, and then the next night you are literally playing for like 3 people that don't care, or you think they don't care, but it doesn't matter,
right?
Because none of that matters. It's just all that matters is, do you like what you're doing? You know, you're having fun while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because I actually just watched the John Mayer documentary, and he said something that is so true. At least it's true to me. It speaks to me. He said that he used to literally sit in his room and picture himself on a big stage in front of a sea of people. And now he is in front of a sea of people, and he closes his eyes and he pictures himself back in the bedroom. and it's so true. Because like when the lights hit your face, like I can't tell if there's 1 person or 1,000 or 2,000, like it doesn't matter.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And like all that matters is the music and what's coming out and just having fun. So
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Yeah,
we're definitely going to be.
Again.
Yeah, totally. We're definitely going to be down. If you could do me one favor.
Yeah.
College buddy of mine is a huge Dave Matthews fan, and every time he comes up to Musikfest, if you're playing, if we're getting there or not, he splits off and goes to catch you.
All right, man.
If you could just say hi to Russ and his wife Kristen.
Russ and Kristen, greetings. See you tomorrow, maybe.
It would be Saturday if it happens.
We also have I should say, like we generally only do a Dave tribute like once every 3 months or so, but it just so happens that we have one at Levitt as well on the last Thursday of the month, 8/25.
Got it.
So
I'll definitely have to make them aware.
Series on a Thursday,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 guys or something. I don't know.
Nice. Nice. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for playing the As Yet Unnamed song.
Yeah.
And can't wait to check you out on the festival.
See you guys at Musikfest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you to Godfrey Daniels once again for letting us set up shop here all week, and can't wait to have a few more shows. As you can see today, there were 3 guests on, and that's kind of the way it runs for the rest of the time, so it's going to be a jam-packed, awesome good time. For today, definitely want to thank Jack Silva from the Bethlehem Area School District, Kassie Hilgert, President and CEO of ArtsQuest, and Billy Bauer, not only for all of their time, but in their stories, and Billy for playing a song for us. That was incredible. If you're heading out to the festival tonight, like we said, we'll be dancing in front of the Blair Crimmins and the Hookers, as well as We Banjo 3, and then who knows where else that'll take us after that. And hope we can, fill a mug together and enjoy some music. And let's fest soon.
All over now.